that.
Crucial night followed on the Wednesday, with Manchester United facing a test of character at arch-rivals Leeds. Rovers had to travel to the East End for the game at Upton Park against West Ham United.
Wilcox, lovely play on the left. Good right foot cross, Berg's in there. Super header. Great goal for Henning Berg. Got just ahead of the defender there and got the faintest of deflections to stick it right in the corner. And Blackburn are ahead. What a vital goal that could prove to be. Kenny Dalglish in admiration of Berg. Wilcox played a big part in this, didn't he? Toyed with the defender, chips up the right foot cross, and that's just a brilliant header. Now West Ham right on the edge of the Blackburn penalty box here. There's danger from this sort of range. Bishop can hit them from here. Martin Allen is not bad either, and the wall in fierce preparation for this. Allen looks like he's shaping to hit one. It's deflected and in, and Flowers can just look on as Martin Allen pegs West Ham back on level terms. Nothing he could do about it. And really from this angle, I think you can see, gets a wicked deflection off the wall and unstoppable. So Ian Pearce thrown on to answer the SOS from Kenny Dalglish. Corner whipped in for Blackburn. Hendry's up there, and West Ham hook it clear with Bishop. Lasso's across first to get it for Blackburn. Back to Flowers. Lasso again. Flowers now kicks clear. Ripley keeps it in. Lasso onto his right foot down the line, and West Ham win possession. And Bishop nods it to the left flank. Morley's there, holding it up well, Morley. And it goes back again. They play the waiting game. Bishop out to the wing. West Ham keep the possession. Well, not too badly either. Bishop's in there. This is building up as a dangerous threat, and Hendry was well aware of that. He's picked out Shearer with that clearance. Shearer spreads a lovely ball through for Pearce, chasing onto it. Pearce hits one. Oh, and he's found the corner. Magnificent finish. It's a magic strike from the youngster. Chasing through the middle. Shearer teed him up beautifully well, to be fair, but the finish was just a gem. And Kenny Dalglish must be made up. Ian Pearce, he throws on the youngster, and he doesn't look affected by nerves or anything. I thought he'd taken it a little bit wide here, but when he triggers in the shot, there's not a hope for the keeper to get anywhere near it.
And Henning, I suppose the West Ham game was probably your most enjoyable game this season, was it?
No, not really. It was too hard. No, the Man United game was my best game. Yeah. And of course, it's always nice to score goals, and we got one against West Ham, so I'm happy with that.
Tim, I suppose I'm going to ask you about Europe next year. Obviously, it's going to be a big occasion for us all. Are you looking forward to it?
Very much so, yeah. I've never, or will never have been in anything like it, and I don't think too many of the lads will either. So I mean, hopefully the supporters enjoy it. I don't think it's ever happened at Blackburn Rovers before, and let's hope we can all sort of relax and enjoy it, really.
Is there any team you'd like to actually play?
Not really, no. It'd just be nice to stay in for a few rounds, you know, and to try and make a bit of a mark on it if we can, but we'll give it our best shot, I'm sure.
It's your first time in Europe as a manager. Will you approach it in any way differently from what you've achieved so far?
Basically, you can't approach it any differently. Obviously, the game itself will be different, but I mean, nearly every game's different in itself. Europe carries a whole different thing for the Premier League. Arsenal will have given English clubs a further boost by winning the Cup Winners' Cup, which was tremendous for Arsenal Football Club. And it makes you realise that maybe the game here isn't as bad as some people think it is. So if we can gain encouragement and a little bit of knowledge from Arsenal's achievements this year, then it will help us next year. But obviously we begin expecting it to be very difficult for ourselves and hoping that we can do ourselves justice.
A win at Ipswich widened United's lead to 5 points. Now Rovers knew they must take all 3 points at Coventry. Not even an opening goal from Coventry's Julian Darby could spoil the party. and the fans were rewarded on 29 minutes when Graham Rousseau drove home from outside the box. Rovers then had a period of domination in the game, but wilted in the second half, as Coventry threatened and then struck again through Derby. The race was over and Rovers were beaten, but the fans rose to salute the marvellous efforts that had gone before.
Into Europe next season, Jack Walker, I gather, has said that that's 12 months sooner than he had expected it to be. Did you ever set a target for achieving that, and is it sooner than you had expected?
There was no target set for us. I never set the players any targets. I've never set anybody any targets, other than to give off the best. And if you give off your best, you get reward at the end of it. You've told me something there that Jack was expecting to get in next year. Well, I never realised that. So. I mean, if he's happy, he deserves to be happy, because without Jack Walker, none of this would have been possible. And everybody here owes him a tremendous debt. I mean, he's put an awful lot of finance into it, but he's also very honest and very loyal to Blackburn Rovers. He loves the club and he really loved the town, and he's given a present back to the town. And it's surely the least we can ask, that everybody gives of their best to try and make it as successful as we possibly can for Jack and for every one of us. The way the supporters have got behind the team and the way the players have responded to the supporters, I think that's the thing that's been more apparent this year than it was last year. I think obviously there's a greater number of people coming to watch now, and they're coming to support the team. And the lads really appreciate it. And I think the people are starting to appreciate the efforts the lads are putting in. And I think for me that's been the thing that's been one of the biggest changes, really.
And so to the final game of a magnificent season. No longer merely Uncle Jack's blue and white army, but Uncle Jack's European army. Win, lose or draw, nothing could kill Rovers fans' party spirit on this afternoon. But for Ipswich, it was an occasion of deadly earnest, their Premier League future hanging on this and a handful of other games around the country. Whilst the score remained 0-0, Ipswich was saved, relegated, and finally saved, as the scores at Goodison and Stamford Bridge fluctuated. And despite the scoreline, the action at Ewood was just as frenetic, with excellent chances at both ends. But Rovers fans had their eyes already on Europe. Finishing as runners-up in only their second season in the top flight was a magnificent performance by Blackburn Rovers. Next season, they carry the hopes of many into European competition. And surely trophies are on their way to Ewood Park.